Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and my coin factory family? Welcome back again, everybody, to our daily Casper crypto live stream. I do apologize for being late today. For one, I'm feeling a little bit ill, and for two, I am also preparing because I'm meant to be going away in midweek with my family. So I'm trying to make sure everything is organized and ready so I can still be able to give you your daily content while I am abroad. Well, not even in London, even up in Scotland. So I'm trying to get everything organized so I can still get that content out for you. With that being said, welcome back everyone again to the live stream. We have got some very interesting sources to cover in today's stream, alongside some market outlooks right now. We have seen a very volatile market today. Earlier we saw Casper rally about 6-7% on the daily time frame, pushing towards 12 cents once again, and now we are seeing it making a bit of a pullback. It's still up roughly 1.27% on the daily time frame, valued at 11.02 cents. But yeah, I am not remotely surprised, and those who were tuned into the VIP group earlier today when we did our executive roundtable will know exactly what to expect and why. I'm not surprised that we are seeing a bit of a less of a pullback now, still a little bit of a pump right now. Truth be told, Monday could see a big pullback. We'll get into why in a moment. Of course, if you want to know more details about it, exactly what, then check out the VIP group again once more. Link down below in the description, and also on my homepage here as well on YouTube, www.wop.com/coinfactory. But yeah, we've got a lot to cover today, so by all means, if you enjoy the streams, as always, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. And welcome back everyone again to the stream. Mr. Miles Furtman, man, great to have you back, brother. Hope you're doing very, very well so far. Happy Sunday. And you too, Dimitar, my man, Casper to the moon. Indeed, don't sleep on the KII. OG Mr. Miles, welcome. You're late, honestly. And of course, everyone else, welcome. Yes, true that. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. What's up, Greg, man? Hope you're doing very, very well. Devious me, brother. You too. Nick, hey yo my man, what's good? Cryptgosu, hello, and Andy, why do you sound very suppressed? I am just quite ill right now. I'm quite ill. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. So my throat is just a little bit sore. So that's why I'm still, I'm not too bad. I've had some ginger and honey lemon tea, and that helped. But I'm just feeling a little bit, I guess, drained from just the illness right now. I'm hoping it will go very, very soon, because I'm meant to be leaving with my family on Tuesday. So yeah, it's been a bit of a day for me basically, but I'm all good, man. And I'm sure I'll be able to hype myself back up a little bit throughout the stream. Don't worry, soon you'll be able to understand what I'm saying again because I'm speaking too quickly. Welcome back, Wing, bro. Hope you're doing very, very well. We moon yet? No, not yet, unfortunately, but in due time. Welcome back, Didi, my man. Hope you're doing very, very well, brother. And you too again, Andy. Managed to get 32 Casper today. Great stuff, brother. Keep stacking that bag. Keep stacking that baggage. So let's start off with the content for today. We can look right now, if we look at CoinMarketCap, when my thing wants to load, we've currently got over 108 million 24-hour trading volume, which is good, of course, above the hundreds once again, but we need to see it higher. Still need to see it higher right now. Bybit with 12.28%, BitGet with 9%, then Mexi and Gate still dominating, 23 and 25 equally, and then Kraken down at 1.91%. So yeah, a little bit lackluster in the grand scheme of things, but I'm sure again that volume will start rallying up very, very soon. We're almost at 525,000 addresses holding Casper, which is reassuring. We haven't seen much in terms of inflow today, the highest being just short of 2 million Casper, and we've seen some more outflows today. Although in saying that, we are still seeing again Casper's currently up roughly 1.62% on the daily time frame. Earlier today it was up much, much higher. Again, if you draw this out, you see Casper was up roughly 8% at one point, almost 9% on the daily time frame. That's when Ethereum itself was also pumping. And at the time Ethereum was pumping, and now Ethereum's reversing whilst Bitcoin is staying stagnant. Therefore, the altcoin dominance is falling off again. When Bitcoin dominance was falling earlier today, it's now reverted back to Bitcoin dominance taking precedent. And therefore, we're seeing most cryptos start to go through a corrective pattern right now. And I believe it's anticipation for what is going to be announced, or how the markets are going to react tomorrow. And I'll get into that right here and now before I get back to the Casper content. So those who were watching my stream yesterday, you would have heard me talking about the Moody report that basically downgraded the United States credit rating. And basically they are very, very worried about the level of debt in the United States that's been, accumulating over decades and decades and decades. So again, I covered it in more detail in my VIP group, so to know more about that, go check that out. To give a TLDR about it, effectively, the reason why I suspect we might see a pullback is because the Moody rating is not necessarily, the Moody rating giving a negative report effectively on America. While it's still stable, it's a negative report. It definitely drives some form of FUD, if you will, and this report came out on Friday when the markets closed. So there's therefore a good possibility that when the markets open up again, the TradFi markets open up again on Monday, we're going to see the investors start to pull back in the worry that, again, we're going to see a big pullback because of the lack of belief, if you will, in the American debt and how bad it is. Therefore, potentially increasing sentiment of there potentially us going towards a recession. Again, time will tell, right? I'm not overly worried. This has been a long occurring thing, the US debt, running up higher and higher and higher. And of course, now we are seeing them downgrade the rating to an A1 from AAA, which is just, again, a big pullback. And, it is quite concerning, right? Moody has downgraded the United States government's credit rating for the first time since 1997, since the First World War, or end of First World War. So it is definitely a cause for concern, thinking how bad of a situation we're in right now. And therefore, I suspect that when the markets open tomorrow, you might see a big pullback. But I'm also not too worried because this for me is going to be short-term noise. I think that we're going to be able to come out the end of this with crypto inevitably going to be tokenizing everything, stocks, bonds, real estate, and debt in the future. I believe we have a path out of this crisis. And with the dollar, therefore, the belief and faith in the American economy dwindling, thanks to this news as well, you might see investors decide to seek safe haven in crypto, Bitcoin, maybe even Kaspa going forward as well, as a hedge against the current collapsing fiat system. And Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, stated that we are going to grow the GDP faster than the debt growth, and that'll stabilize the debt to GDP, which is also, again, what he kind of needs to announce right now, but also, again, a testament to, again, combating this Moody rating. And once more, why I'm not worried, because, again, they're going to be able to do this. I mean, their tariffs might be able to help fix that, but equally, I think helping by making everything trading and working on top of blockchain, on top of crypto, that's also going to help them combat this negative debt GDP growth that's happening right now. And we'll see, therefore, this whole drama come to an end very, very soon. In regards to what we look out for this week, we have got here a lot of information being released on Thursday: the jobless claims, the service PMI, manufacturing PMI, existing home sale, and then on the Friday we'll have the home new sales as well. So this week's going to be a very, very interesting one for me, quite a volatile one again. When markets open, we'll probably see a pullback. We'll likely then see, hopefully, the passing of stablecoin legislation in America in the Senate, and that, if it does happen, will probably drive some more FOMO again to us seeing stablecoin legislation in America enforced very, very shortly, with Trump signing it in. So with all of that and then this information as well, I suspect that next week will be another volatile one going into the end of the month, going into June. We're hoping that we'll start seeing, provided nothing goes wrong, going into June, we'll start seeing the markets rally up higher as well, which is, of course, reassuring. In other crypto news, real quick as well, Wu Blockchain highlights here that MetaMask co-founder and CEO has confirmed that native support of Solana will launch this month as well in May, enabling users to access Solana assets and interact with Solana decentralized applications directly via MetaMask. This marks MetaMask's first expansion beyond Ethereum virtual machine compatible chains, advancing multi-chain interoperability. That is a very, very big deal for MetaMask there. And I mean, yeah, this is going to be also potentially quite big for Kaspa going forward as well. Kaspa will be having Ethereum compatibility. They'll be also therefore able to connect to MetaMask. So therefore, you could potentially use MetaMask as a temporary medium between the Solana chain and Ethereum chain to go back and forth from Kaspa as well. But of course, Kaspa is going to also be interoperable with other chains. The Move chain, which is Sui, the Solana chains as well, Bitcoin's chain as well. Kaspa is going to be able to connect to all of them in this cycle. But again, that's a big move for MetaMask and therefore could be bringing more volatility both to Ethereum and to Solana as well, potentially solidifying MetaMask's status as one of the leading wallets. The other one right now, I believe, would be Phantom. Of course, if you're trading your meme tokens and whatnot, typically what you intend to use. Otherwise, then, I would typically just hold it in a Tangent wallet anyways. It's safer, offline, and more secure. But that's kind of the very, very TLDR of the current market sentiment, what we've got to look out for right now, and of course some other crypto news. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting week for us, and I'll be doing my utmost to make sure I'm still keeping you all guys all up to date, while also providing these daily live streams while I am away in Scotland. Or the timings of when I go live might heavily differ, so make sure you stay very locked in to the announcement channels in the free community Discord server right here, because I'm making announcements in them when I'm going to be going live, because they very well could differ day to day while I'm in Scotland. They're definitely going to be differing on Tuesday, because I'm going to be driving up to Scotland on Tuesday. Therefore, the time I'll be going live is probably going to be a lot earlier. I'm going to probably say to 1:30 p.m, which would be 7 hours earlier than we are right now. That's for Tuesday, so again, I'll make an announcement about that later on as well. And we'll have hopefully a lot more news to cover as well. I'm sure we'll eventually see announcements regarding the smart contract stuff coming out very, very shortly as well, which of course will be very, very interesting. Now, to get into some of the Kaspa news, and welcome everyone to the stream. Nice, Andy. I am out of fear. I mean, yeah, Andy keeps stacking that bag. He's doing very, very well. Welcome back, Falcon Man. You're doing very, very well. You too, Adrian. Welcome back, my man. Good to be here. Great to have you back, brother. Trump probably talked to Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund to get more crypto. Maybe he did. I know that he has got some big partnerships, if you will, or got some good deals going on with the Middle East, with Saudi, and I think also with Qatar, to bring more investments into America over a prolonged period of time. So that might also help out. One day you all will see so big candle, Kaspa will make faces. I mean, yeah, I believe so as well. I mean, Kaspa right now, again, is going through a bit of a correction cycle right now, which, again, I'm not too surprised by. And I do think, yeah, one day we're going to see Kaspa completely shock a lot of people, having a absolutely parabolic candle, you know, in a single day, and then going up from there as well. Who knows? Do you need a passport to get from the UK to Scotland? No, because the UK is England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So I am able to travel to any of those regions perfectly fine. If I want to go to Ireland, then I need a passport. But I'm going to Northern Ireland, then I think it's fine. Not that I've really been to Northern Ireland, actually. But yeah, no, I'm fine to go to Scotland or any of those countries without a passport, because I'm in England, so it's fine. Well, I'm in England, therefore that is the UK. Welcome back, Kaspa Key, my man. Hope you're doing very, very well. Having a great weekend so far, brother. Okay, with that being said, let's get into the next segment of the news. So as I was mentioning earlier with Kaspa, anyways, yes, we're seeing that, you know, nothing much in terms of inflows and outflows right now. We are seeing, again, close to breaking the next milestone of 525,000 addresses, which is very, very good to see. And yes, we're seeing, again, the mining still going up as well at 91.25% total mined for Kaspa, which is, again, scarce supply coming through. We're going to see a supply shock very, very shortly. And equally, this is going to be very interesting to talk about this as well, because we are seeing actually some form of leaks, if you will, from Kraken here. We can see from Peter, who is the business developer and asset listing for Kraken, saying any cool KRC20 projects around. So that is very, very interesting to see that Kraken themselves, one of the key members for Kraken, is asking if there are any interesting KRC20 projects around. So that could potentially be an indicator that they are now giving up or taking the initiative now to look at listing one of these memes or multiple of them. If I was to hazard a guess on what are going to get listed sooner than later, it'll probably be Nacho, most definitely. I think Kango's got the best chance, because I think Kango's got the most listings, if I'm not mistaken. Grove, Ascendex, Bitmart, BitMEXC, CoinStore, Pionex, CoinEx. Yeah, I think Kango have the most listings, so I think Kango will probably be the highest chance of getting listed first. Yeah, they've got more than Nacho as well. So Kango are probably one of the best ones to get listed first off on Kraken. I'm sure you'll see Nacho get one. I'm not sure if Kaspi have got that many right now. They actually have a few more than I realised. Yes, you've got Kaspi as well. You've got Kaspa Ghost. You've got Conan. So you've got many products in here as well. I personally would like to see them on Kraken, especially the lower ones. One that I do like as well, that I don't mention too much, because again, my goal here is not to pump bags. But I do like Wolfie as well. Of course, I'm based in the UK. So Wolfie is one that I do believe in quite well. I think Wolfie is a very, very nice KRC20 project as well. I think they're doing a lot of good stuff there. But I'd like to see that, yeah. So the fact that is also, you know, great news to see all around. And therefore, not financial advice, do your own research. But that could potentially indicate that we're going to start seeing, with Kaspa's price on the uprise now, and therefore capital flow into this ecosystem again very, very soon. The tier ones taking the initiative to launch these as well. You could start seeing capital and money flowing quickly back into these projects and selling them much higher as well. So if you aren't holding any KRC20s, again, it's perfectly fine. They're memes, they're risky. Always do your own research and trade at your own discretion. But at the same time, I do hold a few, not many. I plan to hold more soon enough. And again, it's just a potential hedge, potentially to flip capital. And I do think, yes, this could be very good to see many, many more KRC20 projects getting listed very soon as well. So that is great news to see for that community. So hopefully we'll see more of this coming out soon and see more tier ones on the horizon as well. Of course, I mentioned time and time again, we need to see the higher volume with Kaspa on the big tier ones to see the likes of Binance or Coinbase or OKX or Gemini or Crypto.com initiate the listing. We know, for me right now, I think the highest likelihood is probably Crypto.com because they made a page on how to buy Kaspa on their platform. So I suspect they'll be the next one to list. When? Can't say for sure. Then I think Binance will be very soon afterwards. Then you'll see the FOMO flow through because again, those exchanges have been trying to buy cheap capital for a while now. If they wait when Binance and OKX and whatever are listing, they end up having to pay a premium to still accumulate. So they'll probably just list with what they have or start mass buying quickly while it's still at a relatively low value before it explodes higher. So my speculation, and it is speculation, is you'll see Crypto.com probably list next. Then Binance, and following Binance, you'll see the other major exchanges probably follow quite quickly in order to not have to pay so much to scoop more capital up and therefore can list a project. But I have to wait and see again. Ultimately, things are coming around the corner very, very fast. And again, it's for what Kaspa provides as an infrastructure, as a project right now. As Shai has mentioned in the past, this is the point. The groundbreaking ingenuity of Kaspa is that it removes protocol limitations on the block rates and confirmation times, allow them to be faster than hardware permits. The fact of the matter is that Kaspa actually, as it stands right now, is faster than hardware. The limitation you see on block mining right now is because of the hardware, not because of Kaspa. So Kaspa is already faster than the hardware allows it. So the hardware is trying to catch up to compete and match Kaspa right now, which is a very, very big deal. And we spoke about that again in my VIP group earlier in our roundtable. We spoke about some very interesting institutional developments regarding yield farming and trillions of dollars of capital coming through over the next few years or so. And yield farm will be a big element to that, which I'm sure Kaspa we're also going to be a part of. And this is what I think will allow them to stay ahead of the game as well in regards to being a better yield farm than other platforms. So again, if you want to know more about that, I'm in the process right now of uploading that recorded VIP live. I'll be uploading that probably as soon as the stream's finished today, so that'll be uploaded in about the next hour or so. So if you want to watch that on playback, again, more informative content, links down below to join the VIP, 7-day free trial as well, and also my homepage here as well. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Joe Mojo, my man. Kraken is 100% incoming for KRC20. Yeah, and that's what it looks like right now. Then tweeting that is a very, very big deal. So it looks like, yeah, Kraken are gearing up very soon, which is huge news. And it looks like, again, as you'd expect, all the big KRC20 projects are now making their presence known to Kraken, showcasing that they are still very much alive and very much eager to see a listing. That'd be very, very big. Jay, you said you were not a whale, so are you a shark or a humpback? I'm not going to disclose that, Wing Hong. I'm not a whale, and I'm not going to disclose how much I have. I will disclose that I don't have as much as people think. That's as far as I'll go. I'm still accumulating bit by bit when I have the excess capital to do so. But yeah, I'm not a massive holder. I plan to keep scooping up more and more, though, to still be able to capitalize on the opportunity being presented to all of us right here and now. The next post we have here, which I think is very interesting and also does coincide with my beliefs, something I've been saying in this channel for a while now. Wolfie Head here highlights a nice find from a co-hanging lad right here, which is a very, very, interesting post here, talking about what's coming out for Kaspa in the future, ultimately why we're bullish on Kaspa, but also it plays into what I've been saying as well. So, this post gives me hope that regardless of the noise in crypto and all the compromises that most protocols are making, while claiming otherwise or ignoring, newcomers can find that one protocol that is not compromising. So ultimately, this post here from Top Service 22447 highlights that, in my opinion, At first, the pedigree of the core team and researchers was the initial hype wave. For example, Jonathan, really old research, was what Vitalik Buterin roughly based Ethereum's consensus mechanism on, and is credited in their white paper that caused a lot of excitement. So that's what I've been saying for Kaspa for a while now. Those have been very frustrated with its price, and while I get it, this whole run up here, helped with listings and whatnot. This whole run up here was the FOMO run for Kaspa, based on the fact that the developers behind Kaspa are literal titans in this field. Literal titans in this field right now. They are one of the most respected, accredited, and knowledgeable individuals on crypto. So this whole run here is the FOMO run. That's what I've been saying for a while now. And when Kaspa reached that pump too high too early, following Marathon and Binance futures being released and Binance mining pools, whatever, and then Bybit listing Kaspa, all of these FOMO events that help further run the price up higher. And again, as I mentioned, Marathon mining Kaspa being another big catalyst. That, on top of, again, knowing who the founders were, drove so much FOMO for Kaspa that this whole corrective period, while everything corrected 70% from its all-time highs in January time, Kaspa had a much longer, prolonged period of correction. Still same percentage correction, 75% or so, but it happened over a longer period of time because the FOMO had finally died out. The FOMO is still very much there. We understand who the developers are. They are absolute legends and titans in this space. But it's just the FOMO of Kaspa and what it was died out. Then people discovered they have been improving their work quietly over the years without releasing the coins. This, of course, is just a theory, but which ended with Kaspa's Ghost Stack, doing things that hadn't been done before on the proof of work network with 1 block per second. So again, this whole FOMO for Kaspa we saw, the whole 20 cents price target we hit on August 1st, July 31st last year, was based on the fact that the core developers are absolute titans, that Vitalik Buterin, the second biggest crypto project, Ethereum, they have Son Polinsky in the white paper, and the protocol behind Kaspa is a much more improved version of what Ethereum developed. And now we are seeing the talent of other developers as well, led by Michael Sutton and the co, delivering 10 BPS without sacrificing security, which is another first on proof of work. Next, they'll finish Dagnite protocol, another first, with properties that were deemed impossible by the inventor of proof of work, Cynthia Dwork. So we're seeing Kaspa literally aiming to make history with Dagnite, which there's speculation it might be released this year. Confirmation, strong belief from Michael Sutton that it will not be any later than 2027. So we could see it later this cycle, maybe 26. We'll have to wait and see. But again, this is just trying to dissect this article, this post here. An opinionated post, but one that I do completely agree with, and I have been saying similarly myself, that the developers behind Kaspa and what they are building or planning to build drove so much FOMO for the project. But then that FOMO rescinded and it went to showcase actual use case and actual proof of such, as opposed to just FOMO. The proof is now coming out, and that's why the price is starting to rally up again, when the market's also making a recovery as well. Cynthia Dwork stated, we demonstrate how our framework is inherently unconstrained by a known bound in the classical framework, or that's what they say, but specifically, we discussed how Dwork and Lynch's impossibility result, according to which no protocol can tolerate more than 30% Byzantine failures, while assuming on a priori bound of message latency, ultimately just saying that there's certain limitations to proof of work. But then, and then that's also explained by the Kaspa developers with the current Ghost Dag, the fact that it can't scale with latency. Confirmation times are actually calculated with respect to this bound. However, the brilliance of the Kaspa Dagnite that's going to be coming out in due time is that it achieves the property that was not achievable before by any protocol. It is responsive to network delays. It scales with latency. That means the confirmation times will actually scale with the actual delay rather than being fixed with respect to the hardware wired power bound. So this is an epitome of the consensus mechanism, as not only it is scalable, but it will automatically scale itself as hardware and networks improve over time. Therefore, they haven't got to keep making the next constraint better and better. They can literally just make Dagnite and let it just scale itself. And it will just gradually improve as the hardware improves. And then, of course, you've got the fact that you've got ZK-based rollups coming out as well in due time. You know, it was also a very, very big factor. So, yeah, this is, again, and you're also getting unique solutions of MEV resistance and oracles and whatnot. So, the TLDR of this whole thing is that people working on Kaspa are pioneers in crypto. They've been around longer than many altcoins have been. Just doing the theory and math work, not actually launching the Kaspa coin. They were building Kaspa for years and years and years. Kaspa is built off decade-old, protocols. And they only released the Kaspa coin in 2021. They've been a world-leading DAG and Bitcoin security experts, which has been proven by the fact that you have people like Nick Szabo, who's the creator of smart contracts, call Tom Polinsky and Viv Zohar experts in Bitcoin security, a skill set in scarce supply. So my interpretation of this post here, again giving me the hopium of how lucky we are with Kaspa, is this FOMO run here was off the back of who the developers are, what they're building, the listings we had, all that sort of stuff. Now we're going to see use cases that are coming out very soon through ZK opcodes and whatnot as well. And that's what we've seen. Kaspa had a very nice 2x since April 7th. We had a very, very nice rally in the last month or so, and that's going to continue as time goes on as well. And we're seeing the use case coming out for Kaspa, and we'll see the expansion, evolution of certain projects. Even the KRC20, when smart contracts come out, these will be upgrading as well to them. That's a very, very big deal. We even see here the more use cases coming out in regards to Kaspa here. Someone from the French Kaspa community built a peanut dispenser that dispenses peanuts after receiving Kaspa. It's quite a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but at the same time, that is a sort of future that we can envision. He's doing it with a peanut dispenser. Imagine what you could do with an ATM or other elements for real world applications. You can create a piece of technology that, as long as it's received Kaspa, it will actually function as it's intended to. And of course, Kaspa being extremely quick will also be a benefit, because who would want to do this with Bitcoin and wait 10 minutes for your peanut to dispense? Kaspa can do it in literal seconds, and faster soon as well. And one big factor to me that's going to be a very critical part is the KII, which I'm going to get to in just a moment here. I'm going to be kind of covering elements of the recent XXIM podcast where he interviewed Paul Van Son as well, which is a rare but unique spectacle here, talking about many elements of Kaspa, what's important coming to it. I won't go into the whole interview because that would be a discredit to the individual here. Definitely go watch his video. But I'll cover elements of it that I think are very, very important, such as the KII's funding, how they are pro bono. They are passion projects, so therefore sticking true to the element of no insider stuff like that as well, which is great for Kaspa. And the other elements as well about, why they chose Kaspa over Bitcoin, because Bitcoin falls too short, and other elements as well that I get into in a moment. Before I do, again, let's get into some more of the questions. Welcome back everyone again to the channel. If you're just tuning in right now, I assume you're not an Aquaman. No, the app, you can, if you go on to the top addresses on CashFi, you can look who the top wallets are here. And the old Aquaman is actually Mexi's wallet. That's not me. And they are almost an Aquaman again. I am not in the top. I'm not in the top 10,000 addresses. I'm not that rich. God, I wish I was, but I'm not. Like that would mean I'd have. I'm not that rich. Welcome back, Osama bro. Hope you're doing very, very well. How much Kaspa can we go this year? I no longer do 5 prediction on this channel right now. I just perceive it as a... I understand why people ask it continuously. I really, really do. But I don't want to be giving out potentially false hope. And it's also for my own protection as much as for your own as well. People have speculated 50 cents, $1, $2, $10. Ultimately, it just does depend on where we see Bitcoin go in this cycle. Some are saying a $10 trillion total market cap. Therefore, Bitcoin would be about 6 trillion. I am being more conservative and thinking we'll see maybe 6 trillion total market cap, therefore seeing about a 3.5 trill Bitcoin. If that is the case, then I ask myself, how much percentage of the market cap can Kaspa make and take off Bitcoin? So if Bitcoin gets 3.5 trillion, 1% of that is 35 billion. Can Kaspa therefore reach 35 billion market cap? Up for debate, of course. Welcome to debate that. For me, another way that people perceive it is comparatively to other projects, which again, Kaspa is different in respect to other projects, so it can be a bit of a slippery slope. But if you look at Ethereum in its first cycle, look at Solana in its first cycle, look at AVAX in its first cycle, look at Chainlink, look at Litecoin, all these other projects that have similarities to an aspect of Kaspa. Ethereum, when it saw a proof of work, jumped from roughly a 25 bill market cap, didn't move until November, then went from very, very low down, started rallying in about April, and then kind of stuck around 25 bill till November. They jumped to 125, so a 5x for Ethereum from 25 to 125 billion market cap in the last 2 months. If you look at something like Solana, which you could argue is as close, because back here, while Ethereum is arguably more like Kaspa here than Solana is, it was 2018, 2017. It was a lot smaller market, so it was a lot easier to gain more capital. You've got more competition now for Kaspa. You look at Solana right now, though, similarly not until August, it was at 8 billion and then jumped to 80 billion. Or 70, 80 billion. So again, you're looking at roughly 8 to 10x in Solana in 3 months. Look at AVAX. AVAX arguably being maybe the most realistic, you argue. Looking at market cap wise, you can see it didn't move realistically again till about August time, where it went from 2.5 billion to a 30 billion market cap. So you saw a 15x in AVAX therefore. Look at Chainlink. Chainlink went from roughly roughly in end of July time, went from a 3 billion up to a 21 billion, so a 7x in AVAX. And then you're looking at Litecoin in its first cycle. So this is just me making comparison to other projects right now really quickly. You see in its first cycle here, you saw Litecoin, which again is another proof of work, go from around here, which is end about November time. So again, in a span of one month, went from 2 to roughly 18 billion. So again, a 9x in Litecoin. So I highlight that while there are differences, right, in the fact of that them being smaller markets back then, so therefore it's easier to gain capital and less competition. The whole premise here is I'm highlighting that Kaspa for me is a more superior project to these other ones I've highlighted here, Litecoin, Chainlink, AVAX, Solana, Ethereum. So the question is, when you look at the other projects and how much capital, how many multipliers they saw, when there's less volume as well, can Kaspa repeat that, if not surpass that going forward as well? Again, that's up for debate. I am not going to say how much I think Kaspa is going to go to. I play reactionary to these markets, so I'll determine when the markets are getting too overheated, and therefore it's worth me taking some profits. I'll not take my whole Kaspa bag up though. I'll take just portions of it, and then DCA back in when I have the chance to. Welcome back, Crypto my man. Didn't get notification. I am so sorry about that, man. I don't know why YouTube does that sometimes. Really, really don't. I started streaming, and then I set it up half an hour early as well. So it was actually preparing half an hour before I clicked live. So why it didn't notify people, I don't know. YouTube can be very funny about that sometimes. Hopefully it stops doing that. What's up, Buffalo Theory? Hope you're doing very, very well, my brother. I'm waiting for $1. $1 is a possibility. I'll leave it at that. I think it's a possibility. Kaspa is the best, no doubt, Ivan. Absolutely the best project in this space. I'm waiting for $10 long term. I think that's equally very possible in the long term as well. Maybe not this cycle, but this in the future to be, no doubt. No way for me. I am cashing out my whole bag, maybe even 15-20% depending on the price at the top of the bull run. And yeah, it's also, I mean, again, everyone's going to have their own investment strategies. Right? My whole premise here is I'm not telling you how to invest. That's not my goal here. It's not what I do here. My goal here is to educate you on the news and what's happening in this space, and letting you, as your own investor, to determine how you want to invest. But I give you information, I give you my insights as an educator, but it's up to you to make your own investment decisions. And that's a strategy that people use right now. Like Mila says here, and I don't think it's a bad strategy. Cashing out a lot near the top trying to time the top is going to be very, very difficult. So one thing that I see a lot of traders do, which I also do, is just take profits. So again, you take money out, small portions out on the way up. And then those who have long-term conviction in Kaspa will DCA back during the corrections. Who is it that 8.73 million sell yesterday? Let's have a look real quick. I don't remember who it was that sold 8.73 million Kaspa yesterday. I don't think we looked at that in too much detail right now, and I can't see who it was from here because it only showed the last 24 hours, so I cannot attest to who it really was. You see one person sold 5 million Kaspa yesterday as well. If you remember what the wallet number was, Adam, then I'll try and look at them and see if I can make some form of educated guess. I'm holding 50% for the next cycle or a higher bull cycle. You know how Kaspa is, or a higher bear cycle. You know how Kaspa is. Well, yeah. Again, people have their own different strategies, and I think for the most part, most of them are valid. I mean, all of you here are probably relatively experienced in crypto. If your first cycle, then of course you're here to learn. But either way, you're here to learn regardless. But if you've been here for a while, you would hopefully have learned from your mistakes and learnt your own strategies. Some will just hold indefinitely. Some will just take indefinitely the whole bag. Some will also just take portions out. But at the same time, because of how Kaspa performed in a bear cycle already, does leave there to be potential for it to do something similar in the next buy cycle. But my belief, more so based on the institutional sentiment that I have looked in a lot more detail with my VIPs in this group here, is I do generally see a possibility. I do see a possibility that the next bear cycle may not be as aggressive as a correction as we suspect, potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Once again, I'm playing reactionary and I'll DCA back in when I feel the time is right. But right now, with institutions being here, with us waiting to see how it was going to affect the market, we are still all in a massive element of uncertainty, and that uncertainty is eating away a lot of investors right now. That's why a lot of people like to want to take out, just have my money, have my profits. But sometimes it could be worth just holding on to it. It's not me telling you what to do again. This is something that I have been thinking about more and more based on my institutional research from what they are planning to do in this cycle, and their plan not to just get all involved in the cycle. They've got a 5, 10, 15, 20 year plan with crypto. What they want to see it utilized for in the world we have it is. And that's going to start taking place this cycle and continue accelerating a lot more so over the next 5 years. So in that typical bear cycle, maybe they're waiting for the bear cycle to build then, or they're going to just send it higher. Who knows? I always tell the exact wrong time, so if I'm going to hold forever. Well, if that's a problem you have, Wing Hong, then that's precisely why there's a benefit in taking profits. Because here you've got to have the mindset right. If you are holding a crypto, right, and even let's take Kaspa's chart right here, for example. Let's just say that this was Kaspa's bear cycle, and it's not. Still got a lot longer to go. Let's just say it was this from here, though. You're looking at Kaspa's chart right here, and you bought all the way down here. You got very fortunate, kept buying more and more, and you bought this dip here, you bought this dip here, and then you start seeing it running up here, and you just thought, okay, maybe it's going to start coming out. You don't try and time the top here. That is something that is 9 out of 10 people are going to lose that. Unless you've got insider information, you don't try and time the top. So what people tend to do as the smart thing is just take small bits of profit, little bit by bit, and then even if then it comes down massive like this here, then you can just take the rest of it out here. Either way, you take the rest of it out here, your DCA process was here, 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 here. So you still, while you didn't make as much in the grand scheme of things, you still made profit. Don't be greedy. That's also a very important lesson. Don't be emotional, be logical, and don't be greedy. Greed is one of the biggest ways that investors also lose, because you're trying so hard to make the most out of your money that greed ends up making you lose it all. If you take profits, you'll secure some form of money anyways. And then if you've made profit regardless, don't then go to the mindset of, oh, I could have made so much more, because that's going to end up making you very defeatist and very bearish in general, and think you've done it bad as an investor. You've made money. You've always done a good thing. Too many things could happen over the next 4 years, and I cannot afford 4 more years of uncertainty. Oh, again, everyone has their own sentiment and their own strategy, so I'm not discrediting anybody's beliefs at all. And yeah, these next 4 years of uncertainty could also be quite drastic. For me, I am, from the information that I've been looking at with my VIPs, I'm more than happy to take profit of the cycle and wait another 10 years and let this Kaspa and let my crypto explode much, much higher. I'm seeing the level of capital they're talking about coming into this space, the predictions they're making with their institutional clients, the white papers they are publishing. I'm going through them with my VIPs, and we are seeing in detail what they want to use crypto for, why they want to use it, how much money they're going to invest into it, the transformation happening. So for me, there's still, of course, uncertainty. I don't know how much they're going to pump the crypto market cap this cycle. And even then, I haven't got a fixed number of the market cap of crypto in the next 5 years, but I can see how much capital they plan to, the level of capital we are seeing. I'm seeing, for example, there was a post we covered in my VIP group earlier. We spoke about over the next few years, there is over 50 trillion worth of wealth from the baby boomers that's going to be coming into crypto. And that was published by Mackenzie, forgetting the name of it right now. Wait. It was published by Deutsche Bank, Baker McKenzie. So again, this is sort of information institutional banks are covering. So with that in mind, and me therefore understanding a significant level of capital coming into the space over the next few years, I'm like, okay, so while I'm going to take in profits to secure some for my wealth, I'm also very, very confident that it's going to continue going up. If I'm in the right project, which I think Kaspa is most definitely the right project, I'm happy to keep holding. But everyone has their own strategy. So again, I'm not by any means saying everyone should just hold to the indefinitely. You know, do what is best for you. Do what you need to do. If you can end up retiring off just the cycle alone, then do so. You know, wish everyone the best here. What would it take to move you to America? Great question. I'll be honest, I haven't given it much thought. Right now, I'm very much in the mindset of I'd love to leave the UK, but it's more so right now it's more of a throwaway comment of desire rather than actually taking action to do so. You might see me make a more active choice in doing so over the next year or two, once the cycle is kind of over and I've made my gains, hopefully. Provided that can, everything's going well and good. But at the same time, the only downside will be if I do end up moving country, it's going to require me, unfortunately, taking a step back from YouTube while I'm getting settled in. So you might therefore see these daily live streams you might even see like a few weeks just where I can't do anything, and that's going to be really sucky because I do love doing these streams. So I'll try and figure out a workaround where I still can get content out to people. It'll be a $2 minimum the cycle, but I see everyone on Ethereum, Solana, and Sui come to Kaspa. I mean, again, it's also a possibility if Kaspa are able to effectively and within good time release their Mu VM, Solana VMs, and EVMs, all that stuff natively coming to Kaspa. You could definitely see a possibility of people from the Sui, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin chains bridging to trading and building dApps on top of Kaspa as well. And therefore, you can see all that capital shifted to Kaspa as well. Therefore, maybe $2, which is only a $52 billion markup, is not actually that bad. Maybe it's possible. But anyways, before we get into more of the comments right now, let's get into this KII. Again, don't sleep on the KII interview here with XXIM. Shout out to this man again, and Kit. I apologize if I butchered that. Difficult, watch the video for yourself. I'm going to listen to this first part here, which is once more why I have so much belief and faith in Kaspa, and also KII launching their projects, which they highlight here, which I'll move the screen up so you can see it here. They've got other document projects, that are going to be releasing later this year. For example, the ZETEX Zeta Exchange. You've got Gigawatt Stablecoin, Warp Core, Cash Union, and many other projects as well they're going to be releasing this year as well, which is very, very interesting. Zero Emissions Traders Alliance. And once more, what's very, very bullish. What I like about this the most is what the KRI actually represent, which is just a pro bono passion project to help bring Kaspa to the forefront of the energy sector. It's very closely to this segment of the interview.
Being funded, or is it backed by VC, or will be backed by VCs in the future? Backing again. This is a very valid question, and that's also one of the reasons why I'm very happy to be able to explain this. Because some people think that we are very rich people, or we are sponsored with early coins or something. That's all not true. We do this on a non-paid basis, pro bono, because of course, we see the interest to ourselves as well. Yeah, we are creating a market like we do with DII. We also started very modest, and once the market develops, then we will harvest. We have no doubt about that. Especially Rory and Bara Kreplova, the managing director, they are working day and night, so to say. And I'm not so sure if they are getting a lot of payments. I don't think so even, but they are, like myself, idealists
Right.
for the time being. Yeah,
But
but
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to see.
of
Yeah.
course. This makes great fun, and I'm quite sure that this whole Kaspa ecosystem and world will grow and will get high value. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there will be no I don't think no fear. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there will be great fun, and I'm quite sure that this whole Kaspa ecosystem and world will grow and will get high value. Yeah.
That is just a very, very small snippet from this podcast. I'll cover a few more points here without, again, taking liberties and completely ripping off this whole podcast, because, again, that is not my goal here. I don't want to take it all. Again, it's a very, very insightful interview. I definitely recommend everyone taking the time, just an hour, to listen to it. But that's just one segment here where, again, Paul Van Sum, the founder of DII and KRI, just talking about the fact that they are pro bono, they're a passion project, no VC backing, none of that. They're doing it just because they have utmost belief in utilizing Casper for the space. And they, as you heard there, believe that the Casper ecosystem is going to be one of great value in the future. And we all believe that as well. And I think the projects they're launching again, from the Gigawatt stablecoins to the Warp Core to the ZETX, that stuff's all coming out this cycle. So we're really, really not far off. They cover a lot more parts here as well, regarding, you know, why Paul Van Sum decided to start KRI with Rory O'Neill. They gave a lecture by Paul regarding various sources of energy as well. So again, just trying to understand all the sort of energy business and all the sort of markets in energy that Casper can tap into. Solar, cost of solar farm from 25 cents to just 5.8 cents per kilowatt per hash, which is also very cool to see. Enabling markets, so what it means. So ultimately, they talk about how, you know, you go to areas in the Middle East or whatever, where there was loads of ability to enable markets. So in that regard, therefore, they didn't have any renewable energy, or very lackluster of that. They mentioned how they had wind farms in there, but that was pretty much it. But therefore, thanks to the KRI and getting involved, they now have elements of solar farms in there, more wind farms, other elements of renewable energy. So they enabled the renewable energy market to take place and flourish more in the Middle East. Spoke about, again, Casper's edge over Bitcoin, which I'm going to play this part as well here. Bitcoin falling short because it's too slow and too costly, and of course Casper's edge being fast, decentralized, and also scalable as well. And they do have other parts here, so let's listen very close to this part here though, firstly.
Because really, if you look like the originally Bitcoin, proof of work is the king of the crypto ecosystem, is perhaps on that sense the best we have on Earth. That is proven, very sound, and so on and so forth. But Bitcoin is not it's not a carrier for a lot of information or applications like smart contracts. You cannot pack it on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is too slow, too expensive, and consumes a lot of energy, which is no problem for the role of a store of value. That's okay. And it's working very well. And I mean, there's no doubt that this will continue to work in the future as well. But this is not something we can use for to manage processes, to bring information fast and quickly at lower cost. Then there are a lot of proof of stake and centralized crypto applications in the world. But they are not always the best solutions. They are not always secure enough. They can be manipulated. There are a lot of stability problems here and there. Although there are outstanding applications, but you could almost say that this Kaspa is a sort of in-between solution. It is both proof of work and decentralized like Bitcoin, which you want to have, and it is fast enough. It's even now the fastest in the market, and scalable and able to carry a lot of applications, and that's is for us very interesting. So then we said, well, we have to investigate what can we do with this new technology.
Just for listeners, few terminologies I wanted to clarify, because most crypto perhaps enthusiasts.
So again, this for me is, of course, there are certain elements of the KI I will not be able to disclose here due to their own NDA stuff in this podcast. But yeah, if you haven't listened to the podcast right now, I definitely recommend doing so. I'm not going to play any more of it because again, I feel like me doing a discredit to the hard work put in by Ankit here. So definitely go check that out. I'll link this down below, or more so, I'll link this podcast in my Discord server. You can find it on Twitter already, so you can also just go there on Twitter. I'll be reposting this on my Twitter anyways. But you can just go to join the free Discord server here, and you'll see it posted in there as well, so you go check that out. But again, that podcast for me is very, very important, and that's why I choose not to sleep on the KRI, because what they have built, the partnerships they have, those who are currently just out of pure passion and belief for Kaspa are building with it. And to remind you again, DII, which is effectively the KRI as well, their partners include Shell, DHL, Hyundai, Bosch, Siemens Energy, E.ON, PwC, and that's just handpicking a few of them, and they are the biggest in their respective fields. PwC be one of the big four accounting firms. These are absolute titans in their space who are out of pure conviction and belief of Kaspa and DRI and KRI and what they are building as an initiative. They are trying to build stuff with Kaspa. So the whole argument that I see still quite frequently about Kaspa has no institutional adoption, I completely disagree. I completely disagree. I hope Kaspa is reaching 70 cents as bull run. I think it's a possibility. 70 cents would be what? A $20 billion market cap, which would be a 10x from here. Maybe 7x from here, actually. But it'd be then what, about a 14, 15? No, it'd be about 16, no, about 18, $19 billion market cap. I think that's very easily achievable for Kaspa this cycle, if not more. Let's be real here. If you have a good bull market similar to the last one, we're going above 30 cents quite comfortably. I mean, 30 cents again. 30 cents is looking at a $7 billion market cap. That's it. A 7 billion? No. 7.58 billion. 8 billion market cap. That's really not a lot. 8 billion market cap is really not a lot. 8.5 billion market cap is not a lot. So if we have a good bull market, which again, Kaspa could very well end up seeing a late bloom sort of potential like we saw Solana, with AVAX, pretty much all altcoins in their first cycle did exceptionally well and also blew off late. Again, I challenge you, go onto CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, your platform of choosing, and look at the big projects that are leading their fields right now. AVAX, Solana, Litecoin, all these other projects, right? Ethereum, they did not blow up until the very, very end of the cycle. And Kaspa right now has already done exceptionally well on a bear cycle. It's already established itself as a top 50 crypto asset, currently number 36 right now. And it still has a lot of its big developments coming out later this cycle. So you may very well see maybe the lackluster price move for Kaspa. I don't think you will. But going towards the end of the cycle, I still don't think you will. I think you can see a lot of bullishness for Kaspa soon enough, but you might see lacklusterness very soon, for the time being at least. And then you'll see in the latter half of the cycle a very, very quick, rapid explosion, like you saw with many other projects in this space. How do you know when KI companies will start generating Kaspa market cap appreciation? And what is the potential range? 5 billion, 20 billion, 50 billion? Seems like no one has a clue. I mean, no one has an actual ideology, but the same thing like for BlackRock. You think about BlackRock, who are scooping up more and more Bitcoin ETFs. How much markup they're going to appreciate for Bitcoin? No one knows that either. None of us here are in the institutional space. So no one has an actual ideology or idea of how these institutions are going to significantly impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptos. No one thought that BlackRock with ATS would send Bitcoin to 100k back in December. No one thought we'd see 100k Bitcoin. Actually, that's the first time we saw that. We saw it peak 100k just around that, November, December 24. No one suspected that. So it's not even a question of the KRI and the companies are part of them. No one has an idea how these institutions are going to impact the price of crypto. No one has a clue. Only the institutions who work in these spaces have a clue. Now, in regards to how much they're going to do for Kaspa, again, we don't know. We can speculate. All we do know is they're targeting, they're trying to utilize projects powered by Kaspa, ZTX, Gigawatt, Warp Core, which, just to break down, there are predictions from these institutional analysts that say that the stablecoin market, which is Gigawatt therefore, is going to be roughly 3 trillion in the next 3-4 years. By 28 should be a 3 trillion market cap for stablecoins. So Kaspa with Gigawatt's going to tap into that market. With the ZTX and the energy trading market, KRI stated that should also be predicted to be 3 trillion by 28 as well. So you're talking in the next 3 years, you're seeing Kaspa tapping into markets that are both of those two, so therefore combined $6 trillion in value. So how much of that $6 trillion in value, and that's just those two projects themselves, not talking about Warp Core cross-border payments, not talking about Asset Mint, the real estate market, just those two, ZTEX energy trading market and Gigawatt stablecoin market, how much of those combined $6 trillion market cap in the next 3 years is Kaspa going to be able to attain? 6 trillion. 1% being 1% of that being just 6 billion, 10% being 60 billion. How much? We don't know yet. But that's the way you make the predictions. You base it on, again, the prediction of where the market's going to be in the future, and therefore how much you believe Kaspa can tap into, thanks to the help of these institutional clients, if you will. We don't know them. Again, we don't know the idea. We don't know how much money is going to be flooded to space in general through crypto projects. We have to wait, unfortunately. We don't need KRI companies to do anything, honestly. Look at Bitcoin. It will go to trillions without companies and governments adopting it. I mean, that's also true. It would just be a way to fast track it and accelerate it faster, making us rich earlier. That's basically it. We have the best tech completely. By far the best tech in the space. We don't need KRI, but crypto definitely does. I mean, again, it's the same principle, right? We don't need these projects to come in. They need crypto. They need these projects. And all they're going to do, therefore, is make this space kind of rally up higher and faster, quicker. Tau and virtuals AI will be so big. Yeah, I mean, again, AI is going to be an absolutely massive sector as well. I'll talk about it. I haven't spoken about it in a bit on this channel, actually, and I probably plan to over the next coming weeks or so, but AI is going to be absolutely massive, and there are projects like virtuals, like Tau, and other ones. You know, Desync's one that I have mentioned, which I haven't mentioned in a while, but Desync I think also going to be a great project. AI projects are going to be very, very big in this space. I think Kaspa at the moment is so cheap. No doubt, Nelly. No doubt. Kaspa is so cheap right now. 10.7 cents is insane. And Kaspa will be bigger than both of those two. I mean, Kaspa, yeah, you could argue Kaspa will be bigger than AI projects combined in the future. I mean, Kaspa has the possibility to adopt everything, just due to the fundamental. It could adopt these AI projects to jump on the Kaspa platform. Why don't you move to a country-friendly crypto-friendly country? Finances. Ultimately, I don't think many people have the financial freedom to just be able to jump country whenever they want to, and it's a lot of effort as well. Like it requires. I mean, I've moved before, obviously back when I was at uni as well. The whole element as well, like trying to find student houses, that sort of stuff, and even then in my more adulthood life, I've moved out. It's such a hassle, and that's not even moving countries. You've got to deal with other elements of moving countries as well, language barriers as well if you're going to a place that's not English native speaking. There's so much more to take into account. And then you've got to make sure you can still secure finances. Of course, me doing YouTube, I can still secure my finances for the most part, but it's just a hassle. I do plan to, most definitely in the future. But yeah. Listening to all these news and getting hyped while watching how Mexi is destroying the project is a somber feeling. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating, but there's nothing we could do about it. There really is nothing we could do about it. End of the day, Mexi can't destroy Kaspa. Kaspa's bigger than Mexi. I'm my 20th. like most of you guys, but I advise my daughter to hold most of her bag for at least 4 more years. I have a lot of faith in Casper. I just need to live my life now. I mean, again, you got to do what's right for you, me. At the end of the day, it's really up to you. Casper taking a beating at the moment. It's down 1%. Down 1% right now. It's not doing too badly. It was up 8% earlier today, but the FOMO's flipped to FUD based on what's going to be likely happening tomorrow when the markets open because of the Moody report. But again, stablecoin regulation might also deter that FUD. We'll have to wait and see. Find me in the you can find me in the quick with the Discord and send me a message. Yeah, that's also it. Tony's working on some very interesting projects right now. Casper, what he told me. Not seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Just reading more of the comments right now. I think Casper can reach €4 in 10 years. I mean, let's do the conversion quickly. €4 to dollar. That is $4.47 right now on the conversion. And I mean, you said in 10 years. You said 10 years. I think that is very achievable. Thinking at the fact that in 10 years, we're at a 3 trillion market cap in crypto. There's so much institutional talk that in 10 years we're going to see this market jump to 50 trillion or something like that. Again, we don't exactly know. I've got an exact number, but in 10 years, this whole space is going to absolutely explode. €4 being there for a 100 and 150, give or take. No, 120 billion dollar market cap for Casper in 10 years. Sounds like an absolute. It sounds very, very low to me personally in 10 years. The KRI Casper interview just seems like an enabler of tons of ideas, no real products yet, so I lowered my expectations for now. I mean, they have a lot of products already out, or they're building them at least. I mean, again, if you want to lower expectations, I'm not going to tell you otherwise. By all means, there's nothing wrong with having low expectations and then be surprised. But I know, for example, they are already working. They've got the gross out for the gigawatt, and they're trying to finalize some regulatory element for the gigawatt stablecoin right now. They're also now writing up the means to get ZTX fully function on Casper as well. Warp Core, they're meeting with other institutions and other agencies to try and regulate to get Warp Core functioning. So there are a lot of their major projects right now. They're already, in the works. So I'm sure we'll see again a lot of them come out very, very soon. So I mean, KRI's element is to be enterprise grade enabler. So yeah, that the KRI's role is to bring institutional and enterprise level projects to trade and utilize Casper to do so. But they've got real products. I mean, it's not out right now, but they have got real products, and they are about to be out, and they'll start coming out this year. I mean, KRI's confirmed that Gigawatt will be out this year. I do not do price predictions anymore, Summer Man, but I think it'll be a lot higher, that's what I'll say. If you have to pay $3, I will never have to work again with only selling half my bag. I mean, that's the dream right now, isn't it? There's honestly a real strong possibility for a lot of us. Those who have more wealth, of course, you're better off than others. Some will have to probably be working a little bit longer. But there's a real possibility with what Casper is and crypto is as a whole, that with us getting into it now before institutions get involved, that should we see like Casper hit $3, $4, $5, $10, $50 in the future, we could generally just sit back on our investments and not have to work. And then you've got other elements that I'll talk about, my VIPs like yield farming. That stuff will definitely come to Casper. You can literally just let your money work for you and never work again. We are at a absolute critical point right now. So blessed and truly fortunate to be such an early stage of crypto and Casper. So my dream, honestly, is that I'll make a lot of money this cycle. Probably still have to work, but I'll be DCing consistently into Casper and crypto, make my bags, and then come next 5 to 10 years, I can then just afford to completely retire. I mean, I think that's the vision that a lot of people have as well. Yeah, that's the goal, not work to live. Yeah, exactly. The goal is not work so you can live, it's live so you... well, the goal is meant to be you work so you can live, but it's like you want to just live in general. The work is just a consequence of being able to live your life the way you want to. But you could end up having capital to make your money work for you and just keep doing that, then yeah, you're blessed. Kaspa, $2 totally financially fear. I mean, again, there's a real possibility you can see at the cycle, truth be told. We don't know how much of that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Bird Pit, though. I accept that. We don't know how much of this 3 to 6 trillion is going to be going to Kaspa. We don't know, but we can allocate percentages in our head to make predictions. End of the day, we won't see it. We cannot say for sure right now. No one knows how high Bitcoin's going to go this cycle. Because while you've got institutions here, like BlackRock, like Fidelity, like 21 Shares, and you've got more on the sidelines waiting for it, and potentially governments making reserves for Bitcoin, we don't know how much more they're going to pump into the market yet. So it's not even just a question of Kaspa and KRI. We don't know institutional sentiment because we're not enough institutions. All we could do is make predictions based on maths and stats being given to us, and then believe how much Kaspa can attain off that. I want to believe out of 3 to 6 trillion in the next 3-4 years, Kaspa can attain. I'm going conservative. I'm saying 1%. But what Kaspa's actually trying to bring out, if the KRI can utilize Kaspa efficiently, which I think they can do, I think 1% is actually very, very low. Especially for stablecoins right now. Stablecoins is dominated by Ethereum and Tron. There's no one close to those two. Ethereum and Tron are the two biggest ones. And both of them are terrible. Expensive and slow. Kaspa's faster than both of them. So maybe Kaspa can tap into that market more so, therefore. Maybe at 2% as well. It could maybe be 2%. Therefore, it would be what? 6 to 12 billion. Is that right maths? I think it's right maths. I'm so tired. No, it's 60 to 120 billion. Yeah, that's right maths. No, every single asset is down 99.9% against Bitcoin. I mean, that's also true, like, besides from Kaspa. I'm working on a page that will allow you to share details on stream without spilling the beans. In your case, it's special. Well, I appreciate it very, very much, man. I really, really do. Again, I'm more than happy just to receive whatever you're working on and just look at it in private. I haven't got to show it on stream, but I'm also happy to do so if you want me to showcase it as well. And yeah, I'm intrigued to see what it's about, because I mean, hell, the stuff that the sort of applications we're going to be seeing built with Kaspa, it already had me very excited, and just knowing that people in my community as well, like you, are also going to be building this hopeful next generation of things as well, is an inspiration, to say the least. So I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, bro. I really, really am. But yeah, with that being said, if Kaspa goes to the market cap of BNB, we'd already be blessed, and it would be easy, in my opinion. I mean, again, how high we go is a question we're always going to be asking ourselves. But I do think there's a really, really strong possibility Kaspa does really, really well this cycle. For sure, with smart contracts and everything else, could be 70 cents to $10 long. Either way is a good bet. I mean, yeah, I think all of that is definitely possible. Quite a wide range, but definitely possible. Look at all the altcoins in the last 24 hours, all moving in the same pattern. I mean, yeah, it's because right now Bitcoin dominance is Ethereum's coming down. Bitcoin dominance is still very, very high. So all alts are moving in similar ways right now. But anyways, with that being said, that will be it for today's Kaspa and crypto live stream. If you enjoyed, as always, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. It's going to be a very, very interesting week for all of us for crypto. Things are potentially looking around and looking up as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Just to remind you all once again that this week I will be on holiday. I'll still be making the daily live stream, so tune in for those, but the timing of when I go live will be different. So again, just make sure you are aware. Things are going to be a bit weird, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, with that being said, have a great day, good evening, and good night, everybody. Thank you for joining once more, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care now.